Babylon's Ashes by James Corey. I just finished book 6 of The Expanse. I really like the cover on this one, the black and white with the blue text. Very nice combination. But I feel like the quality of the series has took a little bit dip with this book. I give it an 8 out of 10. All the other ones I would have gave 10 out of 10. Cibolo Burn was a little different because it wasn't in space so much. They were on an alien planet. Maybe I would give it a 9.5, 9. But it was good, though. This one is just like too much belter in it. And a lot of the characters hadn't been established well enough for you to have a good idea of who they were. And they kind of jumped around a lot of random people that you hadn't really had their POV before, so it kind of concludes the whole arc with Marco Inaros and Philip the Son and the Free Navy kind of split off from the OPA, and they tried to like take control of the Ring Gate, the slow zone space. That kind of they had the what is it called? See, there's a big divergence between the books and the TV show because there was no drummer. This whole book, there was no drummer. In the TV show, drummer is like one of the main characters. It's really cool. Kamina drummer. This one, there's a character named Michio Pa, who is a belter. I just watched an episode where it's the woman that kills Fred Johnson, shoots him in the back with a gun. I think he died. I think that might have been Michio Pa. Because then she has like this redemption arc where she leaves the Free Navy and she starts helping out the belt and taking like resources to them and stuff. This is all while the Earth has kind of been destroyed by the rocks that Marco Inaros threw down on them and stuff. And she was like a real bitch in the TV show. But in like the book, Fred Johnson didn't die from being shot in the back. He died from stroking out while they were in like a high G dogfight. There's like some pretty good fight scenes, like spaceship battles in this one. And there's also Praxidike Ming, the biologist, is back in this one a little bit. He's not really on the crew of the Rocinante, but he's like working on this high yield yeast stuff that helps kind of replenish the food supply on Earth and Mars. And Earth is just kind of constantly people are dying by the thousands, and they really need to get the ring gates open back up so people can like send colony ships out and kind of spread humans amongst the stars. And it also kind of got into the thing about like whenever they would go through the rings, he would see like this monster or something like as it passed over his eyes for a second. And then there were ships that would end up missing. And they figured out there's a certain limit to the number of mass you can put through the gates at the same time or something like that. So they used to have to like wipe out Inaros' fleet that was coming for them. But, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of like actual plot happening the whole time. Just like a lot of little pieces moving like here and there. Nothing was like, you know, they went over here and they discovered this whole new thing with the protomolecule and it changed the whole system and a bunch of craziness. There wasn't a whole lot of craziness until like the very end. And Clarissa Mao, she was like on the Rocinante, and they kind of like had to deal with her being like formerly trying to kill James Holden, and now she's part of the crew, and kind of had to explore some of that. And then I don't know, it's just kind of a lot of developing the characters and resolving some old situations. But then they kind of like set up this thing about there's the Laconia gate. It's like this gate like some of the Martians went through that defected, and they said something in the previous book I think about they had like more resources coming from there that it didn't really make sense because it's like a brand new colony and they shouldn't have had as much happening so fast. So that implies that these guys have discovered something and they're up to something. And then they put out this message that says anybody that comes through this gate will be considered trespassing, they'd be fired upon and all this kind of stuff. So then Earth put these ships like guarding that gate to like keep them in there, and like if they try to come through to the slow zone, then they would be fired upon. So it kind of like keeps them, but you know, they're up to something. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. This is book 6. Book 7, I think, is where it continues past the TV show, because I don't think they're going to make any more. They would have already had a new season out by now, I think. So Persepolis Rising will be the first one of new content that I don't know anything about. Then you got Tiamat's Wrath and Leviathan Ends, and then like the short story. So there's like 3 more books of the series, technically. So I'm wondering if they can resolve like the original aliens that made the protomolecule and the ones that killed them. I hope they like they finish the story and tell like what happens with that. That's what I hate about some of these books that have like a big open world. Like you've got these 1,300 rings to other solar systems, and you're not going to explore any of them. Like maybe 2 or 3, but you're not really like gonna. You got so much stuff you could do now. You could just keep making books. Like, oh, we went to this other solar system and they had some crazy shit there. But it's just like they make a big sandbox and they don't play in it. A lot of people do that. A lot of games do that too. Like they make a big world and they don't fill it up with anything. Like an RPG. An MMORPG will do that sometimes. But anyway, 8 out of 10. It's worth reading. I got no complaints really. It's just kind of not a whole lot of real big stuff happened in it. Fred Johnson died. And then yeah, Marco and Ars got resolved.